Ego. Ego is, if there was an opposite to love, it would be ego, right? And the voice of the ego is fear. So when you have that fear monologue in your voice, that voice in your head is speaking to you and it's speaking to you in fearful tones, we're going to call that your ego speaking to you. Sort of the ego promotes in a particular illusion, the illusion of separateness, the illusion of competition, the illusion of struggle. That's all the voice of the ego. Ego also could be considered sort of an inflamed personality rushing out to protect you. You do not need protection, and whatever your ego, your inflamed personality is rushing out to protect, that's a weed, and you can start pulling up that weed and get to the root, and you'll find something unhealed, unacknowledged, unappreciated, unspoken, the result of some packing and stacking, having some intense feeling about something and just packing it down, right? And your ego rushes out to protect that. So that's kind of like a clue. It's a flag. It's like, hey, my next breakthrough's right here. That's the low-hanging fruit. I could have a breakthrough here. So if you get triggered, right? Triggered is what happens right before your inflamed personality, or your inflamed personality rushing out to protect you is sort of the mechanism of a trigger. Then great, then you know where your next breakthrough is coming from. So that's why we celebrate when you get triggered. Yay, triggered! Because on the other side of that is freedom. On the other side of that is breakthrough. On the other side of that is being awake, be responsible, transformation. Um, Ego edging God out, right? So God is oneness and love, and ego is separateness and strife and struggle and illusion. The ego is infinitely enduring, infinitely creative, and infinitely nasty. Your ego has no problem with murder and, you know, war and all that kind of stuff, right? Whatever the ego needs to do to make sure you're right and safe, and you know, whatever it's trying to protect is fully protected. The ego will stop at nothing. Um, I like to think of uh, the is the ego is one of the wolves in the Cherokee poem. Like there's the grandfather's talking to the grandson. There's a battle going on in you and everyone else and each of us, and it's a terrible battle. It's the wolf of love and the wolf of fear. Oh my gosh, which one will win? Whatever one you feed. So the wolf of fear is your ego speaking to you, right? So whatever you feed that wolf of fear every day, and guess what you get to experience? Fear and hate and derision and division and anxiety and depression, right? Competitiveness. And then the wolf of love is oneness and love, and all things work for good and everything's perfect. And it is your difference that will make the difference. So keep feeding the wolf of love, and also learn to dance with your ego. The ego is when it rushes out to protect something, there's that's letting you know where your next breakthrough is coming from, so you can appreciate your ego, acknowledge your ego, separate yourself from your ego, and learn to dance with it so that you can find out where your next breakthrough is coming from. Ego.